What's up, everybody? I'm Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune. That's Dionne Miller of ABC7. We are talking Bears during the bye week here in December. And Dionne,
yes.
I have a riddle for you here.
Oh, no.
An important December riddle.
Okay.
Does Bears quarterback Justin Fields belong in the Pro Bowl?
Ooh, that's interesting. Yes, I think so.
Talk me through it.
I don't know. What do you think?
Talk me through it.
All right. Well, the explosiveness, the offense of his running game is there, right? Like the playmaking ability is there. He's without question the most valuable player on the Bears team. So he could definitely represent them well in that moment. I think yes. I mean, because it's such a drastic step from where he was as a rookie, I feel like this is a big this would be his moment. He'd be the only representative from the team I can think of.
It's for certain. He's the one guy that is the most in the conversation. Eddie Jackson was there until suffering his season-ending injury in New York. The question here is a big one because look, like the NFL has changed the Pro Bowl format, and they will still do the rosters the same way they always have. They just won't have the traditional Pro Bowl game, and are instead replacing it with 3 flag football games to be played in Las Vegas the week before the Super Bowl. The question here is if there is these rosters put out in the past, guys would skip the game because they didn't want to play in the Pro Bowl game, and then there'd be 40 other guys that were alternates, and they would wind up at the Pro Bowl, which is why Mitch Trubisky went to the Pro Bowl after the 2018 season. But for Justin, when you look at the NFC, right, and you're picking 3 quarterbacks from the NFC, I think you'd lock Jalen Hurts into a Pro Bowl invitation for certain. Right. And also he may be playing in the Super Bowl and may not be able to go. Then you've got Geno Smith from Seattle, who I think has had a season worthy of going to the Pro Bowl. And then it's just this dramatic fall off, and a conversation that I don't think we would have ever thought we'd be having back in September, that it's like Justin and Tom Brady and maybe Kirk Cousins as like, who's the third best quarterback in the NFC this season. Rodgers has fallen off. He might belong in that conversation a little bit if he can finish the season strong and they don't switch over to Jordan Love. But man, it's crazy to just to see what this conference has become, what has happened with some of the legends of the game, and now where this rise of Justin Fields has led him. The attention-grabbing highlights have turned heads, right? And when you've got players and fans and others putting together this Pro Bowl vote, he's certainly going to get consideration. And as we talk about Justin Fields' growth as a quarterback, that's notable.
Dan, he might get more of the fan support than a Geno Smith will. And just because of the way that he has burst onto the scene and become, right? I mean, he could get more of the fan vote for that reason alone. I mean, his jersey sales are through the roof, and people tune in to watch him, right? Like that's what the Bears are giving them right now. And so his popularity is really at an all-time high and will only go higher, I believe, as he continues to evolve and continues to grow and become that superstar that the Bears hope that he is. But he's certainly set the table to be that. And to be that must-see football player, and now he's being shown all over the place, right? So I feel like he could have a lot of votes towards that, and I wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't, and that is outrageous to say, considering those first few weeks of the season, how abysmal it was. I mean, I looked back when they went in to go play the Packers. I looked back at that Week 2 matchup, and like Justin was doing nothing. Like the offense was doing nothing. Like that's what it looked like, right?
And it was like that for 5-6 weeks.
Yes. Then it just felt like, what are we doing here? I remember after that Commanders loss, it was like, oh my, this is not working, you guys. It's not working. And then it was just like everything changed. And we just need to have a little bit more patience maybe, but it was nobody inside House Hall was panicking at that moment. They knew that Justin had this in him, and now we're seeing it. And I would not be shocked. It's an excellent question. I had not thought about it until you asked it, but now I feel like, well, yeah, he deserves it.
So let me give you some numbers, because I know you like numbers and you've brought up some things that we can contextualize a little bit. Since the mini bye, that when they made all those adjustments coming out of the Commanders game, Justin in his last 6 starts has completed 67.4% of his passes for 1,027 yards, 9 touchdowns, and has a passer rating of 95.9. In those 6 games, the Bears have averaged 27.8 points. They have also converted 55.2% of their third down opportunities, which has now risen them from the low 20s to 6th in the league in third down efficiency, which is a rise, a credit to Justin, a credit to Luke Getsy. Also is 95 yards away right now as we sit from getting to 1,000 yards as a rusher, right? Which is a big milestone for a quarterback who continues to just do dazzling things with his feet. And then the last number I'll give you is he has 13 runs this season of at least 15 yards, 27 completions of at least 20. We saw a bunch of those chunk plays again in the last game in the loss to the Packers, where he not only scores a 55-yard touchdown run, showing off his speed. Justin was slow, in his words, at 20.5 miles per hour. But he also hits some big passes down the field, right? Like you've got the long one to EQ St. Brown for 56, the long one up the left sideline to N'Keal Harry for 49. You've got a 24-yarder to St. Brown. You've got a 24-yarder to Kmet. All of a sudden, you're seeing these big play, chunk play moments coming almost a quarterly basis. And so it's worth bringing up because, man, it's for all of the conversation about this team and for as frustrating as a 10-loss, 6-game losing streak type of skid is, you're seeing notable growth out of the quarterback that then basically becomes the key to unlock that door of hope that Chicago's feeling right now.
And the way that you presented it, right? You look at the NFC and the quarterbacks that are there, and you look at Jalen Hurts, obviously, and then Geno Smith. And then you're right. It feels like, well, Justin makes sense. I mean, Tom Brady, just by reputation, is going to get some attention. Same with Aaron Rodgers. But Justin has burst onto the scene and belongs in that conversation as the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the league.
And I'm curious to know just kind of how it will work with alternates this year, because I don't know what happens if they say, hey, Tom, do you want to come play in the Pro Bowl? And he goes, yeah, I got some other things I got to tend to. I'm not coming. Do they then go, to QB4? Tommy's got some other things he's got to tend to.
He's got a lot of S-word going on in his life, yeah.
But, so this is something here within the month of December that it's going to sneak up on us, and we're going to go, holy cow. In year 2, Justin Fields is firmly in this conversation as a Pro Bowl level quarterback. And so now what does that mean going forward, and how quickly can they get him everything else he needs to then take the next step, which is to become a championship level quarterback?
I love the roller coaster that is an NFL football season. I mean, just like thinking back to September and into October, and it's like, all that. I love it. I love that every week it's like that. And we are now having this conversation around a Bears quarterback who does feel like he's the future of this franchise. And I remember, I want to say it might have been a month or so ago before the losing streak began, maybe not quite that long ago, but when Ryan Poles was asked, like, has Justin done enough to convince you that he's the guy? And he said at the time, he's done his job. He kind of danced around it. I'd love by the end of the season for them to be saying, we so wholeheartedly believe in him that we have torn it down to a stud. One stud, and it's Justin Fields. And then we're going to build it back up around him. That would be, I think, hearing that from the top would be a huge moment for the franchise, for what they've wanted, and for the quarterback. Well,
you talk about the roller coaster of an NFL season. Ryan Poles last spoke to the media corps about Justin Fields. He spoke after that because he made some trades, but it was pregame in New England, coming off the Commanders loss that you referenced. And it was just like, it was just a moment where you're like, man, where is this whole thing headed? And it was like, Ryan, what are you looking for down the last, 10, 11 games to be confident that Justin's the quarterback you want to build around? And he said, I just want to see the flashes. I just want to see the flashes. Well, my God, have we seen flashes, right? I mean, it's been flash, full
on flames
pretty much every week, right? And so then you're like, the next time we get a chance to talk to Poles on the record about how he feels about Justin Fields, how do you relate this back to what you were asking for in New England in October? And what does this mean for you going forward? Again, the Bears have so much work to do around, so much work. They need a receiving core. They need upgrades on their offensive line. They need a defense that can help them out. They need more talent and depth across the roster so that they can play complementary football and not put everything on the shoulders of their quarterback late in games. And we'll see where all that heads. But man, what a roller coaster, as you said.
What's happened to Cairo Santos? Can we talk about that real quick? That's another issue that I didn't think would come up here at the late part of the season, and it has.
Yeah, a couple bad kicks on Sunday. Obviously, a pushed extra point and then a low kick that got blocked. I don't know. And look, I said earlier in the week that I don't think that there's reason for panic yet there, but there's certainly reason for watch, right? And now, and this is not to get off on a major tangent, but this is part of the worry about the entirety of the Bears is that when the guys that you thought were reliable fill-ins are either hurt, like Eddie Jackson and Darnell Mooney, or struggling like Cairo Santos, you go, oh my God, how much more heavy lifting can one organization take on if now you then have to try to find backups or replacements or whatever it may be for guys that, 3-4 months ago, you're like 100% Sharpie them into the depth chart for the next 3 years.
Right. And that's how we felt. He was so automatic for so long. It's definitely deserved a watch. Because especially with kickers, it's so mental, right? Like, so hopefully he's able to bounce back. It just is weird. It's weird to see it at a weird time of the year.
This is the range that we have. We can go from a conversation on Pro Bowl quarterbacks to what's wrong with the kicker, just like that in the snap of a finger.
That detour was so my fault, by the way. You don't have to put that in the headline if you don't want to.
It was wonderful. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. It's always fun.
Like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time, guys.